guys. Oop, gotta turn the volume off. Hi guys, welcome. We are on YouTube. If you guys like to follow YouTube, we are on YouTube. Don't mind my wacky hair. Who is new here? Do we have some new faces? You guys should be able to hear me through the microphone. Can you guys hear me? Hello, Facebook. Welcome. So, I had plans for this live feed. We were going to learn a little bit about Lumerian, the planet, the crystal, the people. That was the whole title. And that shifted because of everything that's going on, and I have a lot of people asking me to talk about things that are going on, and I will keep to part of what we're going to talk about, which is your spirit guides, and I want to discuss some things about them. I want you to experience your guides, so I want you guys to understand how to do that, and then how to pay closer attention to them. No, the most protesting we had in Moxham here was a guy shouting. What was he shouting?
About peace.
Nope, no justice, no peace or something. It was like 10 o'clock at night. He had to have been drunk or high. And then two younger females were with him, shouting stuff with him. It was just the three of them running around, spitting us out. And then a cop drove by and they just shut it down. Like they didn't say a word from that point on. Because it was just them three. Just disturbing the peace, basically, is what I was getting from it. But yeah, we were supposed to have some kind of event going on yesterday. It got canceled because they got wind of some bad people trying to start rioting. So whoever started that canceled it. So, but we are supposed to have something really bad going on Saturday. So me and Yvonne have not even gotten to the shipments yet, because we've been worried about what they're going to do to the shop, because they're going to be coming down to our close proximity, and we've been trying to get everything prepared. I will be here. I will not be leaving my shop, so if anybody comes near the shops, we will have it on video. We have cameras all over the shop, all over the street, and we have cameras within the shops, so anybody on the street or passing by the shops or coming into the shops will be filmed. There's no way of getting around it. So we will have pictures of anyone trying to deface the buildings here. Our town is very small, and we have a lot of small businesses that have worked their butts off to get to where they're at, including us. And this should be just like Martin Luther King did back in his day. He protested, there was no violence, his voice got heard, thousands, millions of people knew of him, and never once did he deface a small business, because he knew those people worked so hard to get to where they're at, and that shouldn't be allowed, period. just because you're protesting doesn't mean you have to ruin somebody's entire life right from under them. So we are taking precautions, and I will not be leaving the shops. I will be monitoring all the cameras that are outside the shop and inside the shops. So, I do not want to talk too much on the whole thing. The only thing I want to point out to you guys is anybody that's been in law enforcement or dealt with law enforcement or has studied law enforcement knows a cop car, knows a police uniform like that. We will know when a fraudulent vehicle or a fraudulent uniform is being used. The police officer that was arrested was not a cop. The other three were not cops. Whoever put these gentlemen up to this is disgusting. Whoever this person is, they are of complete evil, complete darkness, and it is sad. And I even talked to Yvonne about this. It is sad that it had to take this one person to make people aware of things that are going on. So there was a group that put these four gentlemen up to this. The vehicle is fraudulent and the uniform is fraudulent. That is not even a real police uniform. And any cop that knows that will point it out. And eventually it will come out in the media that all the shit was faked to prove a point or to cause. I just find it funny that this is going on right around the pandemic and right around voting time. A little too suspicious for me. Nothing's adding up. And if you notice, there's certain cities that have specific individuals that are always seem to be in these cities. It's almost like they're traveling to all these cities and making sure that they're there. And people are starting to get wind of these individuals because they seem to show up at every single riot. They're not even voicing their opinions. They're just causing ruckus. And it's just completely dark. There's other things I wanted to say, but like I told Yvonne, I said, how many times do we hear this crap is going on with cops? You told me one the other, like the young man that was in college, great academic, great at sports, very smart young man. I don't know if he was getting his wallet out of his pocket and they shot him. Okay, where was people riding on that? The guy that was pulled out of his truck and beat so many years ago by the police, yes, that was filmed. Where was the riding there? Why this incident? Think about it. Why this one incident? What's so different about this one incident? All these other people died in the same circumstance, basically, and nothing. So, it's too shady for me to even fathom. Yes, I will be doing the Lemurian topic next live feed. We will go back to that. We're going to learn all about Lemuria. All right, let's get off the rioting topic because I'm going to get riled up. I don't want to do that. So, a couple things I was talking to Yvonne about. We are definitely going backwards in time. And I know a lot of people, yes, they were, Nanny. Yes, they were. A lot of things are happening to make us go backwards. And I know a lot of people have been asking me to comment on the whole King John of England. You're not going to like what I have to say about that whole topic. This is why I didn't want to speak on it. I very blatantly remember getting my head cut off, and anybody telling me that that didn't happen is full of shit. It happened. My neck, I know, I have the memories. It hurt. And anybody saying that it didn't is full of crap. You have a gentleman that is trying to raise money, be on all these podcasts, trying to get interviewed. What future king does that? And especially on podcasts you've never even heard of. Like little itty bitty bloggers, little itty bitty interviewers. Okay, who does that? So he claims to be, basically what's going to happen is he's going to come out and basically he's going to claim that he's Christ. We are in the end times, guys. You know this. You're sheep, blinded. I see so many people getting hyped up about the sky. Okay? BS. So, if it's true that he took England, that's a timeline that's taking place. Because in my predictions, I was shown Charles taking a small amount of time, not very much, and then William taking time from the throne. So, what was the other prediction was the Antichrist. Back in 2015, I sat and read from my journal, from my predictions, straight from God himself, showing me all this stuff, that the Antichrist was a nomad kind of man. He was very rich, so I don't know why this guy's asking for money. But he has money, but he didn't have a place of dwelling. He had very rich, high-level celebrity friends, and if that's the case, this guy, why is he going on these itty-bitty podcasts? I don't know. So, what was I just saying? Maria was talking. What was I just saying? Huh? What? No, what was I just saying?
I was saying about what God said in your journal.
Oh, okay. So this guy would be roughly in his mid, maybe late 50s. Not dark skin, but tan skin, almost like you knew. He traveled, so he was in places where it was a lot of sun, and he was out and about. And he wasn't going to be very good look. He wasn't going to be like the stunning, beautiful man, but he would be somewhat attractive to older females. Older females would probably think he was cute. He's very charismatic, so that's how he kind of gets you. And there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out about him. The stuff I'm already obtaining, bullshit. I'm calling it now, I'm sorry. And I know that's probably a lot of you guys don't want to hear. He's going to claim himself to be something that he's not. So, anybody that follows him and no, it's not Obama. He goes by Joseph George Hallett, Hallett III, and claims himself to be King John III of England. And it's coming out that he took the throne March 30th of 2020, and that he is the official king of England, the United K, parts of Ireland, Canada, so on and so on and so on. So, as soon as I heard about the whole... No, he's not. No, he's not. Mary Magdalene is, and her child is. Period. Mary Magdalene. Hi. No. Okay, so... let me just point some things out. I went over this with Yvonne. We sat here all day talking about this because we were trying to get prepared for the protests this weekend. See, there was supposed to be protests last night. That got canceled. Then there's supposed to be protests tonight. I don't know if that's still happening. There's supposed to be protests Saturday, so we still have 2 days to kind of get the shop prepared in case it does get broken in, vandalized, and yeah, in my life pretty much blowing up in my face. So we are taking precautions. I did see a bottle of something getting thrown in my front window that starts a fire, but me and Yvonne are here to put it out, so I'm hoping that's one timeline I'm just being shown, so we'll see what happens. But the intel that I have is from very high up intel, and what they're telling me, it is not going to be a good protest. And our little city that we've been working hard on growing and thriving is going to go back to the dinosaur age, and we're going to have to start from scratch again. Very sad. So, and I am going to reach out to all small businesses in the area that do get damaged or have any vandalism done to them. We want to reach out to them and help them out, even if that means that me and Yvonne close the shop for a week and we go help scrub vandalism paint off their walls, or we help them get their shops back to normal. Anyone that gets a business that's destroyed, I would love them to reach out to us and allow us to help them rebuild their business, even if that means bringing them clients and customers, and we boost their business on my pages because I have a ton of followers on a lot of media outlets that can help boost their business, because this may destroy a lot of people's lives, and I'd rather not see that happen to our small town. It makes me want to cry. The people that don't live here are coming to our city and planning to destroy it. It makes me angry. So anybody in the local area, if you guys need help, please let us know. Please reach out, and we'll help raise money. We'll do whatever we can to help you. So anyway, the whole going back to cutting my head off, here's what I want to explain to you guys. When King Henry puts a decree out, and signs a paper that says a death is to take place, there's no way about going around doing that. You can't just sneak out of that. And second of all, I wouldn't leave my daughter to an abuser, cheater, liar, all-around jerk you've ever met. I would not just leave her and live some other life somewhere else. Think about it. Not happening. Not only that, I pointed out to Yvonne, and she agreed with me. There's witnesses to things like that. Don't you think maybe some of those witnesses would have came out and said, oh, she never died? No, there's a whole biography of how I died, what I said, the 4-page letter that I wrote to him. I don't know if that's even in the media, but I wrote a 4-page letter pleading with him. I remember it verbatim. I even actually rewrote it here in this timeline because I couldn't get over what he did, so I wrote it all out again. Yvonne made me. She kind of forced me to do it. And I remember those days verbatim. There was no getting out of that situation, especially with a king of his demeanor. So when somebody says that that didn't happen, you didn't live that life. So shut it. Sorry. That's how I feel. So that's all I'm going to say on the whole King John. All right. Another thing I want to point out to you guys is, there was a window of opportunity for our society to advance. Now, remember I told you guys I'm part of the second wave volunteership that came in. Then there was the first wave. But before any of the waves were called upon to come into this world to help assist, a spaceman by the name of Val Thor, we used to call him Val, was called upon by the Council of Nine to come to Earth through a scout ship, which is a small alien vessel, and tap down on Earth in a big field back in 1957 before we were arriving in the 1960s, late 1950s. We started coming in very shortly during his being here and after his being here, because we didn't think he would be able to accomplish what he needed to accomplish, because humans are very stubborn and very controlling. So, on March 16th, 1957, he arrived. He tapped down into a big field, an agricultural field. Police went on scene because they kept getting calls of this thing being in the field, and was seen by many people. And he asked to see President Eisenhower. He was actually taken to the Pentagon to talk to the Secretary of Defense first. After that was verified and cleared, then he was taken to President Eisenhower, Vice President Nixon, and head of states. So, I will get to that, Victoria, in a minute. So, when he was brought to them, he was taken to the Oval Office. He was discussing why he was here, and it was because of the atomic bomb and what they were doing with it. And he said to them, "You are going to destroy your human race. You need to stop now." Now, granted, they did. They listened to a point. Now, President Eisenhower, at the time, had a speech ready to go. He was going to go live. He was going to go on and tell everybody who this man was and what he was doing for the Pentagon. And they called him the stranger in the Pentagon. Stranger in the Pentagon. And he was stopped hours before by the head of defense, head of state, all these head leaders, and told no. They had a window of opportunity where Americans would have accepted, where the whole United States, the whole world would have accepted this man. Now, granted, he was placed into a human body. He was not actually human. He was shapeshifted into an attractive younger man so that he would have been more accepted. And he actually got high-level government clearance for 3 years, and then he left. Because he felt they weren't listening, and he felt that they weren't going to change the way humans should be changing. So he left. And then we were asked to come in and help adjust the frequency. If words weren't going to happen, we were going to do it with energy. So we showed up through energy. So that window of opportunity for humans to advance and rise above race judgment and rise above conflict and division and to rise above politics and religion was just gone by 5 people that Eisenhower caved to. Here's another thing. There was a membership of 9 mediums that were chosen specifically for a project. And before I get on that, Maria's reminding me, the Project Blue Book was actually started because of Val Thor. And the case number for that was 002741-57, and they used room 40-717. He was the investigator of UFO reports, unidentified flying objects. He was informing them and giving them information. That's why our government knows so much. It's because of him. So he had been sent to Earth by the High Council to intervene on their behalf of the Intergalactic Federation. Now, where do you guys hear that word? Star Trek, right? This membership of 9 mediums were called upon to do a project called the 9 Council. You actually see the 9 Council everywhere in history. If you look up the 9 Council, you'll see them in Egypt. You'll see them in regular European culture with like Apollo, Athena, you know, these kind of gods. And what came out in these sessions, the creator of Star Trek took that information and used it to create the show's Star Trek. So what you see in Star Trek is true. All of it. And then that branched from Star Trek over to Star Wars. So what you are seeing in these episodes is very real. There is all these different races. There's the Borg. They're not as vicious as he made them out to be. I think maybe he might have did that as a like a drama kind of eclipse. But the Borg basically is like a hive mind. They think with one mind, but a lot of actual galactic realms do that. This is one of the fewer realms. Earth is one of the fewer realms that doesn't. They have a veil that kind of keeps them into an individual division base where it keeps them from connecting consciously with the others. However, you can connect consciously through your soul contracts. So let's say, for example, 9/11. Let's say 9/11. It's called a mass leaving through soul contract agreement. So what they're doing is they're agreeing to leave at one time in hopes that it will advance or progress or change an entire race at one time sitting. So they all agree to leave at one time as long as it makes a huge impact on that race, which it had at that time. And now we're doing it again. We're consciously coming out and protesting wrongdoings. And what what you guys are going to start seeing is people policing the police. And not every policeman should be categorized in this category. I've seen very well-mannered policemen who've reached out to young kids and have laughed with them, have played basketball with them. And the reason these police officers are taking a knee is because they know that wasn't a real police officer. And they're saying, we know what's going on, we just aren't allowed to say, but we are joining you in this because we don't agree with it either. That's why they're taking the knee. Any police officer that knows the uniform or a police car will pick up on the fraudulent parts of these pieces. And that's why they're taking a knee, because they don't agree with it either. They are making a living. That is it. And the ones that, now I've always said, now if you go through the academy or the law enforcement process, which I have, you have to go through medical clearance, and you have to go through physical agility, and you have to do the polygraph. Now, the polygraph just basically kind of just goes over, you know, did you ever do drugs? They just want to see the kind of character you are, and if you're gonna, like, how well are you gonna lie, like how good are you at lying, that kind of thing. I still to this day believe that they should be asking outright in the polygraph, are you a racist? Are you a bigot? Do you hold racist tendencies? Do you think your judgment would be impaired if this kind of person did this kind of thing? Like, give them scenarios, give them situations, and see what comes up on the polygraph. If it's slightly out of whack, they should not be hired, period. And you have to go through a psychology clearance and all this stuff. So I, to this day, still think that they should be doing that. No officer that can have slight bias or judgment impairment should be hired. I've always felt that way. So, and I don't know why they don't do that. They're just willy-nilly hiring these guys off the street. and this is what you get, is these white men who feel privileged and shouldn't be wearing the uniform. I have actually came across one of them. Yeah, me. I got a ticket a couple months back. Never had a ticket in my entire life. Not a speeding, nothing. And me and Yvonne, we had just gotten done with so much work. We were so tired. It was almost midnight. And we decided to, I know it's so bad, but go to McDonald's. I think it was McDonald's or Sheetz. I can't remember. Whichever it was. We went and got something to eat. And on our way back, I was going through the light to go onto a higher street, like I always do. And the light was turning green to yellow, and I just, there was hardly any cars out. It was midnight. There was one car waiting, and that was it. And I went around, obviously I crossed his path to go to my path, and out of nowhere I look up, and this cop pulls me over. I'm like, what the hell? I go, do I have a tail light out? Like, Yvonne's with me, and we're sitting there racking our brains, like, we weren't speeding. I wonder if I have a tail light out. Is my insurance up to date? like I'm just kind of going it over in my head. And this girl comes up to my window, and she's like, license, registration, blah, blah, blah. And I go, can I help you with something? Like, is there something, do I have a tail light out? What's going on? And she's like, you went through that red light. I looked at Yvonne, we were in shock. Shock, shit, face, that's what we had. Deer in headlights look. What the hell is she talking about? Because I distinctly remember seeing a green to yellow, and so did Yvonne. So what the hell is happening? So me and Yvonne are just like, what in the hell? Well, I didn't have my license. I think I had my license, but I didn't have my registration insurance because I didn't know this at the time. But Yvonne had taken it out of my thing when I got into that bad car accident in February. And then the police, I guess, either never gave it back to her. They kept it, or she forgot to put it in. I can't remember which one she said happened, but it was never put in. And I just was like, okay, where's my crap? So I had to reorder new insurance cards. I had to get a whole new, I had to get all that stuff put back into my car. Anyway, because I always have it in this little red folder thing. So I'm extremely organized, guys. You don't even know. So we go to court. And my attorney fights it, and her excuse was, and I had Yvonne as my witness, her excuse was she saw the illumination of the lights. She didn't see the light, she saw the illumination off the pavement. Of course there's going to be a red illumination because this guy has a red light. I don't. So the judge, get this is how corrupt our town is. The judge sided with the cop and then went and took my attorney in the hallway no more than a matter of seconds after he voted for her, took my attorney aside and said, listen, tell her to fight it. I don't want to make any waves. So you knew I was right, and you voted with her for anyway. That's how corrupt you are. That's how corrupt you are. You didn't want to make waves. So this is why cops are getting away with shit, because they don't want to make waves. So this had me so floored. I was so upset. I was so upset. I was just like, I'm just paying the ticket. I'm so sick of dealing with these people. I want it off my plate. I don't want to have to think another thought about her. And I didn't. After I paid that ticket, I said to my attorney, I said, nope, don't worry about it. Because no matter what I do, it's not going to change who she is. She's going to have something seriously drastic happen to her to have her change into a good person. She does not deserve that uniform, period. She lied in court. She lied to the judge. That, in my case, you don't deserve that uniform at all. And that's why we have problems with cops. So, yeah, they're extremely corrupt down here. We have a lot of corrupt judges. We have a lot of corrupt people, period. So, Heather, I didn't see a mugshot, so I can't comment on that. If I seen it, I could probably comment on it. But there's a lot of reasons why certain cops do the things that they do, and they shouldn't be getting away with it. But I know a lot of cops with great hearts, good demeanors, and would do anything for anybody in this town. And they don't deserve to have to deal with rioting on Saturday, period. Not at all. So that's my 2 cents. Okay. On to guides. Let's look at guides. Let's talk about guides, because when I get fired up, I was asked to run for certain office, which I'm not going to say yet. I'm still debating if I'm going to do that. I think I wouldn't have thought about it had that cop not done that to me. So I kind of sit back and say, okay, if I do take office, I'm definitely going to change things. If I see corrupt things going on, out. This town doesn't need it. These are the people that are holding this town back. This town could progress so much and flourish so much. There's so many good people in this town. So many good-hearted people, and the dark ones just keep pulling them down, and it's sad. So I know I keep hearing do it. We'll see. I'm still kind of on the fence thinking about it. We'll see what happens. I was told I'm gonna get bashed all through the news, the crazy mediums taking office. So it's gonna happen. They're gonna go and probably just rip me apart. And I'm gonna have to have the backbone if I do this. If I do this. So yeah, because you know what, Candace? I'm like Trump. I don't care. I'm gonna change stuff. You will not get past what I'm gonna be doing. So yeah. Okay, so let's go on to your guides. Let's experience who your guides are. And okay, so the first thing about experiencing your guides is an inner knowing. I want you guys to inner know your guides and understand that they're always there. You're taking a poop, they're there. You're taking a shower naked, they're there. They're always there. There's no way of getting around it. Why do we have, Melissa Johnson asks, why do we have a Val and other planets don't? Okay, so it depends, Melissa, on the area of learning. So this area of learning is low vibrational. We are only at 4 dimension, and we're trying to push our way to 5th dimension. Now, some people have already made it, and some people are still kind of struggling to get there. But what we'd like to see is that galactically, we would like to see the human race advance and grow as a whole collective consciousness. And some realms are very highly advanced. They've got teleportation, they have shape-shifting, some of them don't even have bodies, and it's a light consciousness that can communicate with the others, that can manipulate environments and energy and devices. They're very good at that. There's some consciousness in mass gases, where they're living out their lives in a gas environment, and they don't really have a planet, so to speak. There's souls that will combine with stars and try to learn what it's like to be a star through its period of birth to destroying itself or blowing itself apart. Also, a lot of people think that the entire dinosaur race was just totally wiped out. It wasn't. There was certain dinosaurs that had lived on and have grown into galactic intelligent races where they were able to find their way off this planet. Because you have to imagine, there's billions and billions of years or millennias for a small, low-minded race to grow itself up into 8th dimension or 9th dimension and find its way off planets. It doesn't have to, and eventually the human race will find its way on its own as well. Granted, it's been held back so badly because of certain controlling individuals that feel that they have an upper hand and still do, and we could have advanced to so many levels by now. There's not, Bella, it's multi-dimensional Earths. So let's say, for example, okay, let me use an example. The girl that started the protests yesterday, there's 2 dimensions going on. There's let's say two timelines going on. Now there's a timeline where she didn't cancel it and it still continued, and there was a whole bunch of rioting and just everything went to shit. Then there's the dimension timeline that we're in now, where she canceled it, and now we're living that timeline out. But this timeline's still living out, but eventually it's going to fizzle out because it's not being, there's no energy being put into it. Once you make a decision, once there's a decision before you, there's two timelines that can happen. One where you go this way or one where you go this way. They both live out, but one will eventually fizzle out because there's no energy and advancement being put into it. Okay? Hello from Austria. Oh, Australia, sorry. I love Australia. I always wanted to go there. Okay, with your guides, an inner knowing. This is an inner, you just know things, okay? This is your guides when they speak to you in this way. Things that fall off shelves, like books or a pencil, or like today, my light just got kicked like across the room. So, and me and Yvonne come running down here, and we saw that my light base to my live feed was knocked across the room. And I was like, wait, Yvonne, what were we just talking about? Because there's a reason why they kicked it. It was like to give us like a heads up of, okay, like either you're right on the right path, or go back to what you were just saying and talk more on it. This is how your guides talk, okay? You're very welcome, Jennifer Lee. Okay, so sparks or streaks of light. This is another way for your guides to communicate. So did you ever just like sit and you saw, that's usually your guides coming around you. And at this time, I kind of want you guys to understand and notice that when you see the streak of light, you want to go back into your thoughts or the actions you were doing and pay attention to what you were just thinking and what you were just doing. That they want you to pay closer attention to, okay? Okay, free writing after meditation. I want you guys to, basically, this is an open forum for you and your guides to discuss things. You have to bring your vibration down in order to properly connect to your guides, okay? So, right after meditation, you'll always notice that you have a lot of information popping in your head. Maybe you have got the juices flowing. This is a time to start writing those things down. Mr. Edgar Casey Colors and Crystals book was randomly on the floor out of the bookcase. Okay, so Nicole, when that happens, you want to open that book and pay attention and kind of just go through the book, and what jumps out at you or what you're drawn to, your guides are trying to pull a message from that page in that book. So there's usually a reason why the book is being jumped out at you. Clicking sounds are usually your loved ones showing you where they're at in the room. And usually it's like a tap on the wall or a tap on the floor or something cracks in the wall. That's usually your guide showing you where in the room they're at. Your guides are going to use a lot of white streaking or white based sparkles. Now if you get colors like blue, that's going to be Raphael, Angel Raphael. Green is Gabriel. If you see like an orangey red, that's Michael. So you want to pay attention to the color, okay? I want to show you guys steps to connect to your guides. One of the steps is completely listening. You have to listen to your guides. I want you to get into the habit of asking them for help, because if you don't ask them for help, they can't really help you. Remember, they can't intervene unless asked. So get into the habit of asking for help from your guides and make a list of what you guys want to ask. So on a daily basis, you can look at that list and listen to what your guides are telling you, showing you with that list. Once you start paying attention and your energy aligns through the meditation and prayers, because you have to bring down your vibration, you'll start listening better to what they're saying. Okay. Write with your guides. So basically, right after meditation, again, going back to listening and letting them basically channel through you. So it's basically bring your vibration out, meditating, and as soon as you come out of meditation, this is what I want you to say. Dear guides of the highest truth, I welcome you to write through me. That's what I want you to say. And I want you to just sit there and whatever words, visions, images, videos pop in your head, start writing it out. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a whole conversation. It could be just simple little one words. Maybe it's colors, because colors have meaning, numbers have meaning. So it's paying attention to those little things. Okay, ask for a sign. And when you start doing this, you're going to be blown away by the signs they show you. But you have to, again, pay attention and listen to those signs. Okay. Again, pay attention to the guidance you do receive. This will take practice, but if you every day take the time to practice this, you'll eventually start getting on this pattern of, okay, that's them. Okay, that's them showing me that sign. It takes a little practice. Stay in the energy of gratitude, because your relationship with them will bond and grow if you're in the state of mind of being grateful for their help. So you can't just, I mean, how do you feel when somebody just keeps taking from you? And they never say thank you. Eventually you're like, okay, why am I even in this with them? Okay? So you have to understand that you have to show gratitude, because that relationship will just keep blossoming, and it will help you to listen and hear them better if you are in a state of gratitude. Kirsten, they can give you signs about a soulmate, but remember, a soulmate is not necessarily, and I know what you're getting at with this, is your twin flame. And twin flames only come into a life unless there's a specific mission that they both are to handle together. Now, soulmates can be anybody from your best friend, your mom, your dog, your brother. It could be anybody. It's basically somebody in your soul family that you recognize soul-wise. That's a soulmate. It's just somebody that you've had multiple lives with, and now you have another life with them. That's basically it. I think when people think soulmate, they're like, oh, God, the love of my life. And that's basically a twin flame. And that normally does not happen in every lifetime. It's very rare if it does. And if it does, it's for a specific mission that they need to get done. But you mainly stick with your soul family that is switching roles, like actors in a play, that have a new script that they play in this lifetime, okay? Me and Yvonne are soulmates, Sharon. High five. Air high five. You can have more than one soulmate. You can, my soulmates in my soul family is Yvonne, Katie, Bella, Drake, Bentley, Mia, Sean, Ryan, Bob. Just kidding, I love you both. And Megan, and Eden, Justin. So that's my soul family. We're just taking on different roles in this lifetime, this time. Twin flames, I've encountered my twin flame. My twin flame, sadly, was King Henry, and acted just like him in this life, once again. And they normally do not, they're too alike, but here's the thing, the only way it can work is if they both are not attached to the ego. Usually when twin flames come together, one is still drastically attached to the ego and can't let go. And they usually choose the ego over their own twin flame. And they end up splitting, and it's very not amicable. It does not end well. So, so usually twin flames do not work out. If they do, they are at a stage where they can harmonize and live this mission together. But a good portion of them will not end up together, sadly. They'll do the mission and then they'll split off. Okay, stay in an energy of gratitude. I did that one, okay. Release the outcome of trust. This is why I have my notes, because I have, what was it? ADHD? ADD? I get off topic all the time. You guys know I jump around. All right, so 7, release the outcome and trust in a plan better than your own. So you're releasing the situation you're in to your guides, to God, and allowing them to do what they need to do with that path, and you stop worrying, because you worrying about it is not going to make the situation better. It's not going to fix it. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. They are the ones that kind of take that path to the next level and then show you the next steps, okay? Be more childlike. Lift the veil and reconnect with your guides, okay? Do things that bring you a lot of joy, that would bring you back to a childlike demeanor. Ask your guides for their names. And the first name that comes to your mind will be the name that they're showing you that they go by. Doesn't necessarily mean they have a name. It just is their way of saying, okay, well, if you want to call me my name, you can just call me this, okay? I wouldn't get all hung up on the names, and don't doubt yourself, because usually the first thing that pops in your head, it could be a short version of a long name, or they can show you the entire name and tell you to shorten it. Any way they show you, it is them. So you got to trust that. And then again, trusting your own tuition, your own gut feeling. This is their way of communicating with you when you don't want to speak to them here. They'll use your gut and your instinct to get the messages across, and they want you to just trust them, because that's the only way this is going to work. You have no idea how many times I've done readings and I doubted myself, and I ended up not saying something when I should have, and then 10 minutes later it already came out in the reading. I'm like, oh, I should have just said it. Like, you got to just trust yourself, because they are showing you everything they need to show you, okay? Do you guys have any questions on your guides? Or about anything we talked about? I'm leaving it open for discussion right now. If you guys are seeing numbers, you basically can just go to sunsigns.com and look up that number, okay? It's very, very simple. Only thing you want to substitute, though, when you see angel, it's not your angel showing you those numbers, it's your guide. So just switch out angel with guide, and then you'll understand that they're showing you a message with that number. No, there is not, Jayla. Guides and dark beings can't dwell in the same energy. Amy, it depends on how many guides you have typically. It depends on what you're doing in your life. So I've seen some people have hundreds. I've seen some people only have like 20. I've seen some that only had 11. Just depends on what exactly you're doing in your life. And now don't forget, those guides can switch out. So like, let's say suddenly you start doing art or singing or creating, your creative guides, your artistic creative new path guides will switch out and come in to play. And then all of a sudden you got a new name, a new guide, a new energy. The communication's different. That's a new guide coming in and helping you. If you want to know more about your path, who you are, maybe you're a galactic star, maybe you're a blueprint designer, maybe you're a blueprint creator, maybe you're Mentakan, like Yvonne, maybe you're a Syrian, maybe you're a parallel. The Akasha record reading that I will be now doing, and I've already done 3, and they've all gone very, very well. These are my practice runs. I don't do an actual new session until I've practiced it and critiqued it and touched every corner on it, because I don't want you paying money and wasting your time and mine and wasting your money on top of that. So I am perfecting it till it's perfect, and I know that it's ready, and then we will be launching the website where you can purchase it, and it'll come into a PDF line form, and I will tell you everything from your galactic realm. And your galactic realm are your train centers, your centers of your chakras, where your angelic realm dwells, and that angelic realm hones in on a specific training lesson that you're supposed to be learning in this life. There's usually only one, but sometimes you will get a secondary. Like if you're a walk-in like me, I have 2 angelic realms that I work on in this life. Trying to think what else. What else do we go over? Your star travel origin. Oh, your strengths, your archetypes, things that you need to work on, reasons you do things the way you do. This is all in the Akasha, and I call it Akasha because that's what Maria calls. They don't call it the Akashic. I don't know where that word came from, but it's actually called Akasha records. Nanny, you would have to get with your guides. If you're like basically trying to make a decision, I'm going to tell you how to do it real quick right now. Let's say, for example, you have a decision to leave. You want to say this out loud. I want to leave my husband. How do you feel right after you say that? Then you say, I don't want to leave my husband. How do you feel right after you say it? You have to say it out loud and be mindful of the quick emotion you get right after you say it. After you do that the two side-by-side option and the feeling you get, that's the decision you go with. The feeling you feel is the feeling you go with. And it's the feeling of, this is the decision I need to make. Sometimes you just have to say it out loud for you to actually get what you're supposed to do, okay? Because it comes with a feeling. Patty, not normally. It's just a feeling that you feel like things have changed, or you know, the energy's kind of different around you. I wouldn't say that the energy's funky, but the energy's adjusted somehow, and it's you being mindful of that. So it's, you know, they're not necessarily introducing themselves, they're just showing themselves to you and that they're around. Lisa, I will get to you when it is time for us to have you guys pay. I've just been doing practice runs on people, like Yvonne got hers. Yvonne, you want to talk about yours at all? You don't have to go on. Yvonne doesn't like being on camera, so she can come over here and talk about it. You don't have to be on camera. Here, I'll give you the earpiece so everybody can hear you. You just put it in your ear so they can hear you. You want to sit with the pillow? There you go. So your knees don't hurt. Okay, put this in your ear.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. This is Yvonne's testimonial. Go.
It was very, very interesting. I learned more out of that than I did anything.
Yeah, I've done a lot of readings on you.
You just learn where you come from, where you started, and it's you now. It just shows you who you are now and why you are who you are, what you're working on right now in this life. That's what I like the most. It shows why I'm here and what I'm to be working on.
Yeah, I think that's what I like. I like the star travel parts because it shows why you do things the way you do, because your star travel family does the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that
Katie, I've never done a reading on Katie, and she usually she has to see it to believe it, and she's like, that's me.
Oh my God, the whole time. She goes, she nailed it. She nailed everything, my whole personality. And now you know why you are who you are, why you do what you do, and what your reason for is here, what your reason is for being here, and what you're to learn and grow on, and where you're at in that stage of growing.
Yeah. And I have to get more of the alien races into the reading. I'm not ready to launch it because I still have a lot of other alien races that are coming forth that want to be involved in it. Because there's a lot of alien races that are here that you don't see underneath the human body, that I want to get to know. You know what I mean? I want to be able to pull that out and say, okay, you're not Matakan, you're actually a Centurion. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you're a Palladian.
And you could be two, because I was two different ones. So you know, it's just interesting to see.
Now, the thing that I picked up on you.
Oh, about what?
There we go. Okay, it worked. My YouTube kind of crashed a little bit there. Okay, so that's Yvonne's testimonial. I loved it. I loved your reading.
Oh my God.
Yvonne was obviously the first one I did.
It was, out of anything, that to me was the most beneficial, eye-opening, just absolutely, now I know who I am, why I'm the way I am, and it just opened everything. And same with Katie. where she came from and why she's where she's at now, it fit like a glove.
And I think what it is a lot of people are trying to find their soul purpose.
Yes.
And I always, and I don't think that they usually get this, but I keep saying you're doing it, or you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But I think this reading actually goes into what is your soul purpose and why.
And you've
here.
always been trying to tell me I'm a healer, and that came out in that reading. That
I said, see,
but
you're a healer.
It came out, but that's what I'm saying. It comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. You guys have to do it.
It is a lot of fun for me. It just takes a couple hours. I think yours took longer because it was the first one, but my second one took me about between 2 and 3 hours. But that was because I was just creating the PDF for it, and we were putting it together. So that won't take as long next time. Yes, Deborah, there is. Nicole said, thanks, Yvonne. That's really good to know. I need something like that for clarity in my life now.
Oh, and you will get it. And you're very welcome.
Damie, when a loved one passes, they will usually show themselves to you in some way. Usually it's through dream. Now, if you do see your loved one in dream, it is exactly them. Because we are not waiting around for our body to wake up. Our souls are astro traveling, astro projecting. They're on this whole adventure, and they're visiting loved ones. They're going to other planets. They're going to other realms. That's why it feels so familiar when you're in there. You're like, oh, and then you come out and you're like, what the hell? Where was I? Okay, so your soul knows what it's doing. Just trust it, and trust your loved ones that they are around. They haven't left you. The body decomposed and stayed here. It was created here. It's going to stay here. Your loved ones, their soul continues on. They keep going, and they're always around. Let me go back and read. I think there was a question or two. Okay. Leah, when it comes to dreams, sometimes the physical doesn't need to know what the soul knows. It might be a little too much information, and so the soul backs off the information as it's coming in. Now, what I tend to find is a lot of individuals tend to block the messages coming through because there's something going on in their life that they're not ready to know the messages coming through, because they feel like something in their life now is undone, and they need to work on it. Mary, my son does the same thing. He sends me signs all the time. There you go. Eurus, your dad's always reaching out, letting you know he's okay. He probably just loves conversating with you and just keeps on doing it. Lena, there is no such thing as bad dreams. Bad dreams are simply the physical's conception of what the soul just endured. Now, your soul could be going to different realms that your physical can't comprehend. So when you come back into the body, it's creating this negative outcome, which never probably even happened. So there is no such thing as bad dreams. It's a more of a not understanding where the heck you've been kind of dream. Okay? So there is no such thing as bad dreams. Our physical thinks it's bad, but we're really not doing anything bad as a soul astral projecting. Can our loved one's soul come to us and be in another realm, another soul contract? Evelyn, yes, this happens often. I can talk to, like, for example, Yvonne, she's Matakan, her soul realm was destroyed, but I am able to go to the elders and the ancestral history bloodline of that realm and speak to any one of her family members if she would want to speak with any of them about maybe what happened. Maybe she wants to know some more stuff about herself. That is plausible, but not everybody can do that. I'm a galactic walk-in, so I'm able to have that galactic connection, and I know the races already, so I know how to approach them. So that's different in the sense of that. And see, Jeannie Ann, that is your brother coming forth, showing you, hey, I hear your thoughts. I'm sending you the message that I'm hearing you, okay? Him showing you a cloud, of a heart cloud after you had just thought of him. Your child can come to you in dreams. If you're pregnant, your child can come to you in dreams. If you're not pregnant yet, your child can come to you in dreams and let you know he is coming or she is coming. Deborah, your galactic family will tend to reach out through dream. This is their time to kind of keep tabs or check in. A lot of you guys are here through galactic realm means, and you're gathering data for your galactic family realm. So I know the Centurions, the ones that are here, they're gathering data for their realm. They want to understand the human experience, so they're gathering data, and when they pass, they're going to take that data back with them, and then they analyze it and go over it and review it. So a lot of you guys are just having a human experience because you want to experience it, or you want to experience different aspects of this world, like its technology and how it's advancing, maybe riots, you know, how does that all work, you know, how does people get all wound up like that, and what's anger like, what's frustration like. So it's all an experience, it's all learning. Sleep paralysis happens because the body's waking up before the soul can even get there. Your soul cord's yanking you back, but sometimes the body is just like, woo, let's go. And your soul's not there to occupy it and make it go. Let me use an example. Did you ever go to a funeral? Grandma passes, you go up to the coffin and you go, wow, that doesn't even look like her. It's because the soul gave the body character. It gave it its emotions, it gave it its design, its personality, its characteristic. This is the same thing with paralysis. Your body is one entity, your soul is another. Your soul has to give it gumption to go. And when it's not there, the body's just kind of like a robot. That's basically it. Your body's just a robot. It's an astronaut suit, and the astronaut has to be in the suit for it to move all about. Okay? I have time for 2 more questions. Tornadoes in your dreams means there's an uproar going on and you're not facing the issue. So you feel like your life is in chaos and you need to ground yourself. So using grounding crystals like hematite, black tourmaline, red jasper, use these, and even do a foot soak with these crystals in the water for maybe 15 minutes. Watch TV, read a book, just let the crystals do what they need to do. You can even use salt to kind of take all that energetic stuff that you've been absorbing for months and years, and you will notice that your water turns a slight gray to a almost black, even a subtle gray. Subtle gray is good. It just means there wasn't a lot of gunk that you needed to get out of your aura. But the salt should be in there with your crystals, and sit for about 15 minutes to 20 minutes, whatever you feel is comfortable. But give it time to get out of your system. Just remember, guys, we've had a lot of like riding preparation going on, so shipments will be a little bit late from the shopping spree. We are trying to prepare to get the shop protected for Saturday's big fiasco. It's going to be bad. And we just want to make sure the shop is prepared before we start shipping stuff out. Okay. Oh, thank you. It's a amethyst root wand. That's what they call them. We'll be getting a lot of these in, so if somebody's interested in it, they could just inbox and we'll give you a price on which ones are coming in, okay? And we'll give you the inches of how big it'll be. You're welcome, Lisa. The protection crystal from 5G is going to be shungite. It's shungite. And drink shungite. Put it in your water for about 10-15 minutes and drink the water. I have room for one more question. I'm just trying to find one. When you close your eyes and you see a lot of images, Claudia, this is your guides showing you information. They're showing you messages, and it's you putting it together. You could be even getting past life stuff. I would go with the flow and just embrace what they're showing you instead of trying to like block it out. Okay. Eva, they're not on the website yet, but if you do want crystal merchandise or any kind of metaphysical stuff like this tapestry, that website is the crystalcovespa.com. Hi Eve, love you. That's my sister, Eve Gino. Dee Dee, yeah, symbols, numbers, colors. Your guides are going to use whatever they can to get across a message to you. So constantly pay attention to everything because they are talking nonstop all day long. There's no lapse in time. There's no lapse in communication. Now, sometimes you might quiet your mind, but that doesn't mean they've stopped talking, okay? They're constantly talking. It's just you paying attention. And that's it, guys, okay? We do have a shopping spree coming up next week. Follow the Instagram, _, like the little slashy minus sign, under, not up, like a minus sign, it's the under. So it's _, divine, DIVINE, _medium. And that's on Instagram. If you follow the Instagram, guys, you get all kinds of information. And I find Instagram very calm, very peaceful. People aren't attacking one another. There's very talented people on there. You guys should probably check it out. I find it very positive and loving, that environment. It's a lot better than Facebook. People on Facebook just, all they want to do is attack each other and bully each other, and it's really getting out of hand. That's why I've pulled back a little bit from it. Trenton, you would simply just wait till the website launches. There's going to be a whole bunch of readings that you guys can choose from. I'm not doing any readings that I used to do in the past. We have a whole lot of new different readings coming out, and there won't be a whole lot of one-on-one interacting, and I have my reading reasons for that. I'm protecting myself this time around. So you're going to see a lot of email. So your Akasha record, it'll have all of your information in there, everything you need to know, PDF, fun formed, and it'll get sent to your email, and you will be able to pay by the question. So if you want one question asked, maybe you want 3 questions asked, or maybe you want 4 questions asked, you'll be able to purchase by the questions you want to ask, okay? So I don't really interact with anybody like I used to. I used to do a lot of one-on-one, and I don't do that anymore. So you'll be able to purchase the reading, and then what will happen is the team, the Divine Medium team, the support team online will get a hold of you through email. The email that you use to purchase, that will be the email we use to correspond with you, so make sure you're putting the right email in. And no, Amy, you have to have clearance to get into those records. And I was cleared before I came here to get into those records. So Tina, I don't know what you're saying. It's in Italian. So what was I going to say? Okay, so the support team will inbox you and let you know what there is no like really a time. They'll set a day that I'll start it, and then they'll let you know, either tonight or the next morning, you'll see your PDF reading in your email. And then that's where you'll correspond your first question, okay? And that's it, guys. And I'm gonna go. Me and Yvonne have lots of stuff to do. I really want to sleep. I'm really tired. Don't make that face. Shut it down. Okay, I love you guys. You have a good night. Bye. I forgot to say bye to YouTube.